This is Jason at Eastern Star Small Engine. We are working on a home light chainsaw today. Customer brought it in, said the recoil, pulled the rope out of the recoil, and we're going to try to put that back in for you today. Show you a few little tricks that I do. Okay, I've got the recoil off of it. There's four screws here, and then you got to take this top cowling, a couple to hold it down. Of course, we know the end if it's frayed, you know. So here we are with this. So we get this out. I've already got the screw out of it. One thing I do look for is when I'm taking that apart is make sure that spring is still intact. So you can see that little loop right there, the little loop right here. Okay, so we know that's good. And you want to look for that little tab right there too. That hooks on the back of this. Okay, and that allows that to grab. You know, because if the spring's bad, it ain't gonna do you any good to put a rope in it. You know, we'd have to replace that spring. Plus, you got to take this out because the knot is on the back side of that spool. Another thing I check for is I just check these little paws, make sure they're still working right. Okay. All right, we are gonna get some rope and we'll put this thing back together. And I want to show you how I tie my knots. Okay, what I do is I just loop it like that. I'll twist it twice like that. And let me do this again so you can see this a little bit better. Okay, I loop it like that, grab it, loop it twice, and I bring this end back through that hole. Kind of locks in on itself instead of just a square knot. Okay, kind of get that in there like that. Pull that with your fingernail, and it does like that. Something else you notice about that end right there. Okay, I've actually taken a lighter, heated that up, and got it to where you have a little bit of a flame on that. And take your rag, you grab that with your fingers. This is nylon rope, it'll burn you. So if you grab that rag when it's on fire and then just pull it out, and it'll come out to a point. Okay, and then I'll put that inside my spool. Because I have to have my spool off to be able to do this. So I just go ahead and pull that through. Okay, fits right down in there. I guarantee that knot will not come loose. Okay, I'm going to show you how to wrap this thing up, and we'll get it started back up. Slide that down in there. Okay, you'll feel it come in place. Okay, because your spring is always going to pull. You're always going to turn your spool toward the rope inlet. Okay. So we put our washer back in there, and this is a 25 torque bit. So just go ahead and tighten that down. It doesn't have to be super tight. Okay, I've got this spool back in here. One thing I noticed is, see that notch right there? Okay, they put those notches in there so this rope will go right inside that notch. Okay, and then you pull it up, and then you hang on to it, and that's how you wind your spring up. Okay, because you've got to do it this way because you can't get to the hole on the spool. Okay, so you just start winding this back like this, hold that rope inside of there. Okay, and when you're winding that up, you don't want to get that spring too tight because it puts too much pressure on that spring and it will break. Okay, so we'll wind this around, wrap it up through the handle, and I'll show you how this is going to work. Okay, we got our rope back in and everything's looking good. Everything's working like it should. You know, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You know, you can go ahead and put your rope up through here, put your string on your handle, and then wind up the spring. Or you can wind it up, feed your rope up through there, and then put the handle on. You know, there's a couple different ways, but you don't have to take this spring out of this to redo a pull rope. You stick your piece back in here like this, and you're ready to go back on the machine. And it's working like it should. like and subscribe to my channel. I'll try to do some simple videos, but I appreciate your time.